April here from Teach Travel Read, and I am going to share with you today how I do curriculum mapping using Google Sheets. I have been teaching for 10 years and I am a level 1 Google certified educator, so I hope I can give you some tips and tricks to help you with your curriculum mapping to make planning easier for you for the quarter or the school year, however you want to form your Google Sheets. And if you are not interested in sitting through a video and doing it, you can check out in my Teachers Pay Teachers store down below. I already have a template created for you that you can go there and purchase and just edit as you need. So let's dive right in. All right, let's get started. So when you are in your Drive, first thing you're going to do is you're going to open up a new Google spreadsheet, and we are going to go ahead and rename that. I want to make sure that I know this is a template that I am creating so that it doesn't get mixed up with the other mapping that my official one. And we're also going to need to add some more cells. So you want to drag all the way to the letter Z, and you're going to insert 26 columns, right? So that way when we go over, you can see we have a lot of different columns here. So we'll have about 52 columns. And then adding to that a little bit here, we're going to go back over to that area. I'm going to go over, we'll go all the way over, and we need to resize these columns. So what we're going to do is we are going to actually, I take that back. Let's go up here. We're going to go over all the way. And we're going to need to resize the columns that way. So that when we right click on here, we can resize columns B through AZ, and we're going to change that to 25. It's going to make them very small, which is going to seem strange, but it's all going to make sense once we start working on things here. The next thing I like to do personally is I like to go ahead and make the cells outlined in darkness. I'm also going to scroll down a little bit. I'm going to go down to about, let's go down to about 60. We can always add more later. But I want to make the cells outlined with borders. So we're going to click that, and then I like mine to be thick. You don't have to have yours thick, but I know I like mine that way. So I'm going to do a thick black line like that. And then I'm going to click that again. And so it's going to look very strange right now, but it's going to all work out beautifully, I promise. Okay, so now I'm going to scroll all the way back up here to the top, and we're going to start up here. We're going to highlight 5 cells, and we're going to merge those cells. And this is going to be week 1. And obviously you can go through and change the fonts that you like. I like everything to be centered. It's a weird thing I do, but that's cool. And then let's say we want the next 5 cells. We're going to merge. It's going to be week 2. And so on and so forth. We're going to keep doing that as we go. Okay, so before I continue that, let's look at a calendar. So let's say we're going to start with January just because it's January. So I know the first week we're going to do 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. Oops. And then 11th, 12th, and then it goes 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th. I'm going to go ahead and stop right there for now. Okay, so again, I like mine to be centered. It's a weird thing I do. Now, I'm going to go a little bit further here because I know there's going to be some more cells we're going to need. I'm going to merge this whole one, and this is going to be the month of January for my templates. And again, we can go back and reformat everything later with fonts and those types of things. Okay, so now we have that done. I'm going to merge those cells right there. Okay, so now I'm going to actually merge a couple cells over here. And let's say I want that to be math. Okay, so that will be my math area that I want to have. And again, very centered in middle. That's just my personality. Some people don't care. Okay, so we're going to keep merging here on those cells. Maybe I want that to be reading. And again, just my OCD tendencies to have things centered, and you can choose how you want to do that. And I'm going to do one more just to have one so we can look at it. But I want, let's make that writing. Okay. So then what we're going to do is we're going to actually merge the cells for that week. So I'm going to highlight, so let's say this is all of week 1 for math. I'm going to highlight that. I'm going to merge those cells. And let's say I want that, let's say it's unit 5, lessons 1 through 4. Okay, so you might say, but there's 5 days. Well, we know not everything happens perfectly like that. So let's say I want to do that. Okay. So actually I'm going to, because that's getting frustrating to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure that is all good to go there. Okay. So we can keep going through and doing that. So let's say in the next week, oops, I want it to be unit 5. Lessons 5 through 9. Okay. And I can keep going through and adding that and doing that. Now, here's my favorite thing that I like to do is doing some color coding to go with this. So I actually use a website. It's also an app called Canva. If you Google Canva color palettes, you can find lots of different colors that you can actually include so that you don't have to use the provided colors that Google gives. So if we want to scroll down, it's the color palette generator, and explore color combinations. And you can find tons of different ones. You can search by keyword. You can choose what you want. So like personally, I change mine to different colors for my each subject. So let's say I want math to be a blue. Okay, so you can see it's going to come up with lots of different ones. I'm a visual person, so I'm going to look this way, and I really think that one's pretty. So I'm going to click on there, and we can see that cyan, and then it gives us the hashtag. Actually, I know it's not called a hashtag, but I can't remember what it's called right now, that we can input in there. So when I click on math, and then I'm ready to change the color of that, I can add a custom color hex code. That's what it's called. And then I can just paste that, click OK, and bam, there's that color that I want. Okay, I can do the same thing with reading. Let's say with reading, I'm going to keep 2 weeks together, and this is going to be the Tiger Rising novel study. Okay, and then let's say I want a different color for that. Let's do a green. So again, I can go back here to Canva, find a color that I really like. I like them to be bright. Ooh, that one's really pretty. So I'm going to click on that one, and that actually gives me a pretty magenta that I might use too. So I'm going to highlight the hex code for that, and then come back here. Oops. Change, add a custom hex. Okay, so another thing I'm going to show you is how to go from this to this, because I feel like this looks aesthetically more pleasing. So when you do that, all you have to do is you simply drag that down a couple of cells, and that's going to increase that. You can also drag it back up if that's too much, or then you can see that's going to keep doing that. So I'm actually going to take this top one and just drag it down 1, and then it's going to increase there like that. Same thing here. If I drag that down And then same thing here. If I drag that down, it's going to change that as well. Okay, so, and then you can see here, I have finished out January with the date, the weeks and the dates. But let's say that we're just going to, it's going to take the whole month of January to do Unit 5. We can go ahead and merge those cells. And then you can see we could actually just change that. Like, so if I just change that to Unit 5, then it's showing all of January. Same thing with Tiger Rising. Maybe that's going to take more than just 2 weeks. It's going to end up taking 3 weeks based on my past years of experience. Do the same thing where I just merge those cells there as well. And then I could go in and fill in the other things for here. So like I know writing usually takes a lot longer than 2 weeks for a unit. Maybe I'm alternating between science and social studies, so maybe I don't have any here, but then I'll have one for science. So let's say we're doing energy and motion, but then the next go around for the next 2 weeks, let's say I'm going to merge those. And I can find my custom colors in here still, but then I'm not teaching science for the 2 weeks after that, but then I'm going to teach social studies for the 2 weeks after that. And let's say that's about the Civil War. So I can keep going through and doing that. So you can see how it can be formatted so it doesn't have to stay just in 1 month. So let's maybe it takes 3 weeks to do this reading unit, and then the next reading unit is going to take, let's say, 2 weeks. So I could merge those cells. I personally still like to keep the same color, but then I can see that it's going to take part of January and then part of February to do the next reading unit. So then you can keep going through and formatting and adding. Just all you have to do is just dragging and click and just click those merge cells to help you. And then again, you can customize your fonts. So I'm not a plain font type of person. So if I find one that I like in Google Sheets, there are ways that you can add fonts beyond just the basics that they give. You can click up here on more fonts and find other fonts that you might like. So let's say I want that one. And I can just keep going through and doing that for the fonts that I like. So again, it depends on really what you like to have in there for your personal preferences. So let's say I want that one. Let's go ahead and do one because there is one that I do love that I don't have on here yet, and it's Lifesavers. And then you just click OK, and then it's available in there, and then you can change that obviously to meet your needs. You can change the size, make it bold, whatever works for. Okay, one more thing I want to share with you is how you will then create more than one spreadsheet for your whole school year, because it would be pretty overwhelming to have it all on one spreadsheet. So I'm actually going to rename this one. I'm going to call this quarter 1, or whatever, however you do it, first 9 weeks, second 9 weeks, etc. It doesn't, whatever you need to name it. But then all you have to do is go up here and click duplicate, and it will create a copy so that when you can see it's the exact same thing, then I can just rename that one to something else, and then I would just have to go through and just change that so that I no longer have those in there. And then I would change my month to whatever that needs to be, change the dates and etc. And I can do that for all of my quarters, or if you're on trimesters, you can do it by that, whatever you need to do. So let me know if you have any questions, and thank you for watching.